Hello, and welcome back to Music and Me 2023. If you haven't been here before, my name is Jlee. Thank you so much for coming to watch my vlog. We are up to number 8 of a 10-part series, and I'm honestly really excited about sharing today. It's going to be a little bit of reminiscing for me, and we're going to talk about how it all began. As most of you may know already, my background, I am Papua New Guinea Chinese. My Chinese family landed in Papua New Guinea during the war, and I grew up there. So I was born in Australia, but my family settled in Port Moresby, and it was quite exciting. So if I start from the beginning, my mum was a singer, professional singer. She was in a couple of bands, and I basically grew up around the studio, around band practice, listening to my uncles playing in the band, supporting my mom supporting them. Just it was a good old time, really, like back in the days in the studios, the soundproof studios. Just the in my memory, I can just remember the smells and the feeling. I loved watching the big old recording machines with the big tape things, like a massive cassette tape, and being behind the desk, the mixing desk, while my mom recorded in the studio. I don't know if any of you have been in a recording studio, but the olden ones, I want to say olden ones, because I was born in the 80s, so they're just different today. You know, people can record in their home studios or at the computers, under a stairwell, in a cupboard, but nothing beats that old school, classic, straight up, built-in studio. Just beautiful. I basically started singing from the age of, I want to say 5 or 7, professionally, like on stage. My family was very encouraging of me to go and sing on the microphone. I don't know if I was very good. I mean, I guess I was okay. I wish I could watch videos of when I was younger. I'd probably be a very harsh critique of myself. One of my earliest memories was, and there's two that stick out to me. One was my grandfather, Francis Chan. We used to attend a PNG Chinese club back in Port Moresby called the Cathay Club. And during like lunches or yum chow or whatever, he'd have me stand up on the table, which is very unsanitary. I don't recommend it. But I guess he was just super proud of me, or probably I was very entertaining and shameless. And I would stand on the table and sing Kylie Minogue's I Should Be So Lucky. That was his favorite song of mine to sing. I was just thinking about that last night. Embarrassing, but I mean, I had a great time. I don't remember feeling forced or scared. I loved it. So I can't deny that. That's how I grew up. I love performing and hearing them happy and cheering. I don't think that I had any issues with being shy or the self-esteem. I don't know where the shyness came in later on. I feel a bit shy. I think it's from all the rejection and all of the hate that I got growing up being a singer. But that was my life. I grew up just entertaining and being encouraged to entertain, honestly. I don't regret that. I love that that's how they chose to raise me. Another one of my memories of how I started was going to a restaurant and watching the band sing. We'd have live music playing in like the waiting areas of a restaurant, and if it was anyone I knew, or if the music was calling to me, I don't think I had any fears at all. I remember going up and asking. I went up and I asked if I could sing, and they played whatever song I could sing. I think I sang Swing Home, Sweet Chariot, and My Bonnie. That's the one that goes, my Bonnie lies over the ocean, my Bonnie lies over the sea. I'm not sure where I learned that song, probably at school. But yeah, that's one of my early memories of singing. My mom and my dad were very, very adamant karaoke users, and my dad had a karaoke bar, and it was connected to like a club, and they always had karaoke week on the weekends, or I don't know, probably during the week as well. But I remember singing all the classics like To Sir with Love, Blue Bayou. My favorite ones to sing were like Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. So back in the days, they were CDs, but before that they were laser discs, and they were just these. So like if you see a CD, I don't even have one around me, but if you see a CD which is about this size, a laser disc was like this size, so it was massive, and we knew which one we wanted, and they were like multi-tracks, and they had like the greatest hits of the 70s and the 80s, and they're the same thing that they do now with playlists, but it was on a disc. And yeah, we spent our spare time singing karaoke, which is a really great way to practice. I highly recommend it. I wish I could do that now, but now they have karaoke on YouTube, and you could just go on there and put in your favorite artists and play. But I think the fun part about karaoke back in the days was there was just a set list there, and it doesn't matter if songs were repeated, you just sing from this list, and it spanned over different genres, and 60s, 70s, 80s, and then 90s, and then the 2000s came in. And it's a little harder for me now to get into the karaoke, especially using YouTube. Mainly it's just because we had the whole setup. Like, you plug in 2 microphones, you got the girl part, the boy part. It's still the same now, except we're using our phones or our computers. So I guess it's up to the user. So I'm gonna have to make a better effort in that, so that my kids can enjoy karaoke the way that I enjoyed it. We do kind of do that now, but I have a 2-year-old, and he likes to hog the microphone, so it's a no-go zone. My mom was I guess confident enough to have me go on stage with her. I was able to perform at the age of 7 on the stage at a concert in front of thousands of people. I made the front page of a newspaper, and it was seriously a fabulous experience. Like, I loved that. Like, it really made a mark on me as a child. Like, I can do this, and it wasn't just me. There was other kids that came up on the stage and sang as part of a choir or all this kind of stuff, but I got to sing with my mom. I was her little sidekick. I don't know how she trusted me to do that, but I guess I was just natural at that. Everyone has their strengths, and performing was my strength, natural strength as a child. The lights didn't scare me. The big noises didn't scare me. Seeing strangers didn't scare me. In fact, I loved it. It was thrilling, and it was, I felt like, I think I've talked about it before, but from a young age, the stage was just the safe place for me. To be myself, to be happy. One of the reasons why I haven't made videos in the last couple of weeks, just struggling with my own mental health, and I was wondering if I should talk about it at all, because I just knew everyone's just learning about me, but truly mental health is a huge issue, and as you guys know already, I'm doing a diploma in counseling, so it's definitely helping me to normalize the ups and downs that we go through with our mental health. And being on stage was exhilarating, but I spent a lot of time off stage very, very lonely as a child, and it affected me a lot, because I couldn't fully like be engaged. There were very good moments growing up, but that was probably one of the things that I struggled with, and I still do now. Like, coming on here and sharing my story, I wanted to be able to give it fully and not feeling like locked out of myself, if that makes sense. Not that anything bad has to happen for you to have like an issue with your mental health, but I just knew that I wasn't fully myself, so I wanted to take some time as well and go easy on myself before I came back here to share, because my memories give me so much joy, and I didn't want to cloud that with like false happiness, if that makes sense. Coming into my school years, I'll start with back at home in Port Moresby. I went to Murray International School, and I had some wonderful music teachers. To name a few, Mr. Tamanabai. He was one of my first teachers. I had people like Michelle Hawafa come in and teach us. I think it was an after school program. And then I had my 4th grade teacher who actually put together like musicals and stuff like that. I'm so sorry, I can't remember his name right now. If anyone can remember, please put it down in the comments. I could probably look it up online, but I won't. I'll let you guys put it in the comments if you know who I'm talking about. And it was like a 4-5 class, and we got to do Godspell the musical. We did Oliver. I remember part of this production we did Cats as well, Cats the musical. It feels like it was all in one thing, so it may have been just one big production, but it was an amazing put together production. That's when I really first started going into like the theater, so like putting on the thick makeup, putting on a wig, or wearing like just different costumes, becoming a different person. That was amazing, to sing a solo or to sing as part of a cast. They set it up on the oval of the sports oval in Murray International. It was in the evening, and then they had the lights on for the kids, and the wind was blowing. I can just remember that feeling. But that's when I first did like a proper musical. And so after that, I went into another production which was called Toad of Toad Hall. And oh my gosh, that was so cool, because we got to go and perform in the Port Moresby Arts Theatre. And I remember I had to put paint all around my eyes I was actually the badger from Toad of Toad Hall. And yeah, no shame. I think being a character really helps you to expand your creativity. I loved it, and it was a really good experience. Skipping a few years, I came to school in Australia, and I attended Mansfield State High School. They had an excellent music program, and I was in all the things. So I took part in like the concert band. I played percussion in the percussion section. I was in the percussion band. I was in the jazz band as a vocalist. I did try to learn the drum kit. Fail, absolute fail. I really loved playing like the concert percussion instruments, which is like the kettle drums and the snare drum on its own, using other things like the triangle and the tambourine. I actually won the best tambourine solo. Tambourine solo in a concert band, like a Stefford type of thing. I have an award to prove it. But that was one of the highlights of my life, honestly, like to experience music in a different way. And I encourage you guys, if you have kids who are interested in music, it might not feel like they'll pursue that path, but it really gave me an appreciation for music. And so if now, as a creator, I'm able to like think about these different elements and incorporate them in the things that I want to do. For me, being in the concert band, which is just a smaller version of an orchestra, basically, that was something I would never get to experience, I guess, if I had continued education back home. Unfortunately, I think it's something that we should have. I mean, it's not really part of the culture back home, so I can understand it's not a necessity, but I'm really glad I got to do that in Australia. I also was part of the chorale, the girls' choir. So there's different groups. There was a smaller group, so where there was only like 5 or 6 of us, and then there was the bigger choir where there was like 20 of us. And I sang in the part of the alto, and I got to go into the tenor when there was a bigger choir and sing on the boys' side. And then I actually started vocal training for the first time. I feel like I was in grade 9 when I started vocal training, and it was actually with a jazz singer. She was an operatic jazz teacher. She went across those 2 genres, I think. and I got to expand my range from tenor to soprano, and that was the first time for me realizing that I could do more, and that's why I pursue being a vocal coach now, because I think that to have a goal and to be able to experience your voice in a different way, like when you want to hit the note and you can hit that note, it's just the best feeling in the world. After school, basically, I just pursued writing. So I didn't write to make an album. I really just wrote to express my feelings. I was writing poems and writing stories and writing songs, I guess. I wasn't writing for anything in particular but to express myself. And then later on, I ended up doing an album, a gospel album in Port Moresby. I had the opportunity to go in and record after I had my first son, and that's where I met my husband. But yeah, that's basically it for the past and my upbringing in music. I think the key is that I had a lot of encouragement and opportunity. And not everyone has the opportunity, but encouragement is so important. And I believe it helps to be honest. It wasn't always positive reinforcement. I definitely received the negative end of having a talent. Like anyone who is good at something will have a critic. And from my cousins to my friends, or my so-called friends, were very brutally honest with me, especially my sister. Me expressing my talent utterly and purely annoyed her. I feel like I was just put on this earth to annoy her. She has many more talents than me, I have to say. Crafty, smart, sporty, just natural at mothering. I really had to learn from watching her and observing others on how to be a mother. Like, some people are just natural at stuff. For me, and I always said this, I was only good at two things: reproducing babies and making music. So if you know me, you know that's funny, because I have 6 kids, and I've said this before, and I never thought I would have 6 kids. And as I was having these kids, I was like, oh my goodness. And I had friends in high school that really showed me the hard side of high school, and just the cattiness and the judgment of peers. Being accused of being a show-off. That was a hard one. People calling me a show-off was hard, because I was so happy entertaining, and having to not entertain made me feel really, really low. And I'm not blaming anyone, but I really learned that later about myself, that I can't suppress like what God's gifted me. I have to be able to use it. Yes, you have to learn humility and learn how to walk that out without squashing anybody down. So I'm really glad for the people who have criticized me and made me take a step back and think about how I wanted to express myself. One thing that I've learned is to really encourage the people around me, so that we can all move together. And I'm no way saying that I'm better than anybody else, but if you can understand, let's try to see through my words. It's so much better to put a hand out and help someone out than to look down and say, oh, you're not good enough. And I am a naturally really critical person. I think it's got to do with my upbringing, with my mother critiquing me as an artist. I like to think that I critique in love, because I think that if people have the potential to do better, then they should do better if that's what they want to do. And not just to say, hey, I think you can do better, but to be able to help them get better, which is why I wanted to be a vocal teacher. I loved how my teacher helped me, and I want to be able to help other people.